Alrighty, the Bible isn't what you think it is what I want to put up there. It's Vision and Veil, and I wrote, I am not monetized. I would like to use this video instead of using music at the bottom of my sewing channel so that people can be educated. Thank you. If I do not hear from you, I know that it will be okay, but if I do hear from you, I will not use it. Please let me know. Thank you. Alrighty, I bought these at the Dollar Tree, and the tips, this right here is completely gone, and I'm going to fix it. Plus, so, well, you can see right here where I put some twisties tie on it, but it ain't doing no good. But when I set my tablet on it, sometimes it slides off and it falls down. I don't like that because it may end up breaking my iPad. So I'm going to fix these. These are still okay down here, so I don't need to mess with them. But I do want to fix it to where it'll stay. And on this one, now I have my thing here going. I do believe, I hope it's going. Alright, we'll find out. But I think I found some screws that one of them may fit in here. I always save all kinds of screws and everything. And I think maybe that one would work. I hope so. We're going to give it a try. And that way I still got two of these. That's kind of weird that it just fell out like it did. And that didn't work too well. Gotta make sure that stays. May have to find a, nope, that right there ain't gonna work. Let's try this one out. See if it'll work. I don't think it is either. Alright, let's go to another one. That is not what I wanted. Okay. That one most definitely ain't gonna work. Oh, and it ain't gonna come back out. Come on now, don't do this. Oh, okay, it come out. Alright. I don't think that one is either. Nope. So let's try that one. No. Dadgummit. I gotta have one in here to work. Ugh. It's too loose. Well, I may not be able to get this one going. And I doubt this one right here will work. I think it's too skinny. I may not be able to do it. Well, come on. Where's the end? Ooh, yeah. No. No. I don't know. Let's see if we can't make it work. It might not. It's not doing anything. But hey, I'm going to keep it like this till I can find me a better screw. Maybe just, no, it ain't going to work. Nope, it'll fall right out. Alright, let's try that one again. Let's see what happens. I know one of them has to work. Oh, come on, go down in there. Well, I was hoping one of them would work. I don't think it's screwing. Not being able to see too good. Okay, this ain't gonna work. But as you can tell, it's got a long thing in here. And I'd say that screw's probably small that goes in there. Alright, so nothing like that's gonna work. So we'll throw that over there, put that there, and we'll fight with it later. Alright. Yeah, that's ready to go. Alright, with this one, I'm going to take it all the way to the very end. And I'm going to glue it down. Man, that right there is going to let that glue out. And hopefully, it will stay. Okay. Now we'll let it dry. We have to let it dry. Alright, now this one, it has this thing over there. I have a straw here that you get out of the Capri Sun. Yeah, I got kids around. I'm going to take it. It's going to be a, it's going to be small, but hopefully, I wonder if a regular one would work. Let's go look. Alright, let's try a regular straw. No. We are going to take and kind of fold it to make it go down in there. I have another one of these that I literally put a straw into. Look, there it is. There's the straw. Let's see if I can't bend it and make it go all the way through. Let's see if I can get it to work. I'm getting it there. I just have to bend it to make it work. That right there's been in there since Rick worked at McDonald's. He worked at McDonald's and I was at McDonald's and it broke. So that's how that ended up in there. Alright. I can leave that like that and not worry about it. And now I'm going to do this one the same way. And hopefully it will work. And there we go. Alright, let's turn that off. Okay, I don't need them. Alright, ooh, yeah. That, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. I am glad that it will work. I don't like these. I don't. These Dollar Tree things, they ain't really worth it. I mean, they tear up too quick. So I've had this one here for probably about 2, maybe 3 years. And like I showed you, you had to put a straw in here to make these. Now after a while, these right here will come out, and I'll have to end up doing them the same way. Alrighty. Right. I have got this right here. I found some more screws, and it's got a wrong screw in there, but it does work. So I'm happy about that. I got my other one back now. Now we can start sewing these down and getting them done and all that good stuff. So let's see what we can do about getting one of them sewed down.
And out of that huge story, which predates the Bible by thousands of years, you get the story of Noah's Ark, which is a tiny fraction of the Epic of Gilgamesh. And the Epic of Gilgamesh is taught in universities all over the world in ancient civilizations. Eridu Genesis and the Great Flood. In the Sumerian version of the flood story, the gods decide to destroy the human civilization. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the gods decide to destroy humankind because they are being too noisy while the gods are trying to sleep. But in the Eridu Genesis, they lack a clear explanation as to why they're really doing this destruction. It's just saying that, look, there's a flood coming. Enki, betraying the other gods, tells the protagonist Ziusudra. Ziusudra in the ancient Sumerian tablets is actually Noah in the Bible, of his plan and how to avoid dying in the flood. He instructs him to build an ark. And we found the actual ark tablet. This ark tablet is a real tablet. And this ark tablet is a description of how to build the ark. And the ark was not like the one described in the Bible, which it leads to more freelancing again. The ark was described to be had built as a round ship or submersible, and it had corridors in there. And the instructions were not to take two ants and two praying mantises and two lions and two sheep and two elephants and all the animals from all around the planet onto this boat, onto this round submersible. The instructions were to collect samples from your local area of your plant flora, seed and so forth from around the local area, and some of your local livestock. That's it. Ziusudra versus Noah. Both Ziusudra and Noah are instructed by one God to build an ark and escape the flood. But the decision to destroy humanity is made by one and one only God. So in Genesis, you have the Abrahamic religions who believe only one God exists. Multiple gods decide to destroy the earth in the polytheistic Eridu Genesis. Now, when you read the Sumerian tablets, you find not only in Eridu Genesis, but in other tablets as well, that these gods had collaborated together and that some of them did not want the earth to be destroyed. And they were begging to the leaders, Enki and Enlil, primarily Enlil, who had full control in decision-making, and also Anu, their father, begging to them to please not let this come, not let this calamity happen. And they decided that, you know what, the experiment here had gone wrong. The people had gotten too noisy. They had gotten too wild and crazy. They had gotten too intelligent. We want to just start over. And while this flood, which seems like a directed asteroid strike, while this flood, through whatever method they used, swept over the land and turned all the kingdoms into mud, they actually were on this sky ship crying and weeping, then loathing that their creation had been destroyed. Noah and his family remain human. After the flood, both Ziusudra and Noah are blessed by their gods, but in different ways. Ziusudra becomes immortal. So in the Sumerian tablets, the gods grant Ziusudra immortality by giving him some type of genetic mutation, allowing him to live an extended lifespan. Not necessarily immortal for eternity, but an extended lifespan. In other words, more than the 120 years. And when you look at it, then you see that Noah and his family remain mortal in the Bible version, right? In the book of Genesis, God establishes a covenant with humankind, promising to never destroy them again. The promise that God makes to Noah sets Abrahamic religion far apart from Mesopotamian polytheism. The Mesopotamians believed that they had to constantly keep the gods happy, or else they would wreak havoc upon the earth, even when all their efforts, so forth and so well, were being met and unpredictable.
We'll take our 4K, we'll explain.
It ain't gonna do no damn good to explain. You're not allowed to use your rights.
Trying to say they were violent because they were refusing to sign. That's violence.
Nah, anything is violence to them.
No, they ain't human beings. You just think they are.
No, they ain't human.
I wish I could say they are, but
they ain't.
they're not. You're right.
My needle just tore up. Thank God I got done with it. That's crazy. My whole needle, where the eye goes, is tore up. Now I gotta find something to put it in. And what happened to the... Oh, right, here's the other... No, it ain't either. Where's the other piece at? Oh, my God, I hope nobody knows. Oh, there it is. Good. Right there. Alright, I gotta find something to put that in. Because I don't want... I just want to throw it away. And get her done. Alright. Thank God I got done with it. Alrighty. I have some notes here. I think the reason why I'm having to cut some of these down... Oh man, I can't use that one. The whole side's gone. Is because my stitching, I have it closer to to the end of the material, and these are more for sewing machines. So I think that is the reason why I'm having to cut these off. I need to bring my stitches over a little bit. Now, back to the other thing, the video at the bottom. I have to agree that we are spiritual, not religious. The religion, religion is for man-made, not, where's that one? There it is. Is man-made, not from God. We're spiritual beings. I'm trying to figure out this. So we have that. We're all that way. Alright, another thing that he was talking about, let's say that I am making this quilt, but yet we say that Rick made the quilt. That's the way we're going to look at the Bible, because the Bible has been messed with by man. So that's one thing that we have to look at. It's inspired by God. It is. But you got to look. It ain't nothing but full of sin, sin, sin. And is that one cut too? Yeah, that one's cut too. I can't use it. So, look at it that way. Alright, so the people that wrote the KJV done it. I have to say, the Bible has a very lot of good things in it. So, see, I need more. Sorry, my brain's not. It was collected earlier, but it ain't now, because I got started. That's the way that I see it, and all, that men wrote the Bible too. Let's look at it this way. You have the for sewing machine. From what I can understand, he is saying the gods, the small g with an S, are taking turns being gods on earth. That's the way I see it. I think I got everything. I am not religious, I am spiritual. Sandy made the quilt, but I say Rick did it. People who made the KJV did this. Yeah. This template is for a machine. Yep, we already got everything. So now we're done with that. So let's see if we can't get these sewed down. I've got some needles to thread. So I'm gonna get off of here and thread these needles, and then we're gonna get back to sewing this. I might as well go ahead and put this down here. But yeah, I think that's my problem, is I need to go over a little bit on my sewing to where it will line up. Alrighty, let's see what we could do about getting this right here done.
The illusion in the biblical text that, we saved your family and everything's going to be all good. But if you look at the story after the family's been saved and they're starting fresh again, right? It also says in the Bible that not everybody died. It also says in the Sumerian text, not everybody died. So Noah and his family were not the only people left. Read it good. Read your good book good. I know the book like the back of my hand. I know the book like the back of my hand. There were giants that survived. The Anunnaki, they call them the Anak. They survived the Great Flood. And there were other people that also survived the Great Flood. 2 people did not create 8 billion. There were people here already. Adam and Eve were just 2 of many that already had existed. This is basic bare bones biology, like biology 101. The thing that happened after Noah's family survived, they met other people, other survivors. They built a new civilization. They kick-started another civilization in that region of the planet. Other people were thriving in other parts of the world. But what's interesting is they go right back into the same old ritualistic things, trying to keep God happy, trying to satisfy God all the time by having sacrifices and this and that. They went back right into the same old system again. So even though the biblical text is trying to say that, hey, they just, they were blessed and they could start fresh again, not true. It's the same as the Sumerian version, where they had to keep trying to keep the gods happy through sacrifices nonstop. So the debates is a text. It's a text that tells you the Cain and Abel story before Cain and Abel even existed. It tells you the Cain and Abel story. It reads it a little slightly differently, but it's the same exact story. The debate between the sheep and grain describes the primordial hill where the gods live. An, who is also Anu, right? The sky god creates 2 sisters, Ashan and the goddesses of the sheep, and Lahar, the goddess of grain. An creates these goddesses to clothe and feed all the gods and goddesses on the primordial hill, but they realize that they do not understand how to use their sisters' gifts, so they created man to feed and clothe the gods instead. Later, Ashnan and Lahar fight over which sister has the more meaningful gift. The story ends with the gods Enki and Enlil intervening in the debate and declaring Ashnan the winner. The similar story between, from the biblical text is the debate between Sumer and Winter. The gods create Emesh, Sumer for vegetation and the abundance of the earth. Eten, Emesh's brother, identified with Winter, was responsible for the fertility of livestock. When the brothers fight, Enlil declares Emesh the more important of the 2, and they reconcile after Enlil's ruling. The same Cain and Abel story over and over again. The 2 debates discussed above bear the most striking resemblance to the Genesis story of Cain and Abel, Genesis 4:1 through 4:16. Like the debates, the story of Cain and Abel involves quarreling siblings, but while the debate tablets discuss relatively insignificant events, the story of Cain and Abel is amongst the most tragic tales in the Bible, one of the very first recorded murders, right? When God appreciates Abel's offerings but not Cain's, Cain becomes jealous and angry. God warns Cain not to give in to his anger, but Cain does not listen and kills his brother Abel in envious rage. God punishes Cain by cursing him to wander ceaselessly. Now, what does he do? God tells Cain, you got to get out of here. And Cain goes in the Bible, he says, but the people out there will kill me. So wait a minute. If you believe in the version that most people believe in of the Bible, you know that there's Adam, Eve, Cain and Abel, right? Cain kills Abel. So now there's Adam, Eve, and Cain. Now Cain gets kicked out of the garden, but all of a sudden he knows that there's people out there. What people? That's in the Bible. There were millions of people already here. When Adam and Eve arrived here, there were already people here. Adam and Eve were not the first people on this planet. They were the first Homo sapiens sapien version, the first genetically modified by the Anunnaki, to be able to reproduce in a certain type of way. The other people, a lot of them weren't able to reproduce in that way, and the ones who were creating a lot of rarities, giants that didn't have long lifespan. All kind of crazy stuff was going on according to these texts. When you look at the story of the Adamu, when Isis says, I'm going to take this baby to term and I'm going to bring forth the first one that works the proper way. And she takes one of the existing hominids, which was our cousins on this planet, takes the egg out of her womb and puts it into her own womb and takes it to term for 10 months. And then she gives birth to the Adamu, which means first man. That was Adam. It means that he was the first perfectly created man that can actually reproduce on his own, that had enough common sense and logic and wisdom and understanding to take orders, but also to think for himself. And then they tried to mate him with some of the other people that were there, and the mating wasn't working. So then they took some more genetic material from him, and then they cloned or recreated an Eve and had them mate. When they figured out that worked and they could have a baby, then they duplicated that experiment over and over and over again. They made a lot of Adams through the same process. Not Adam having babies with Eve, but them creating new Adams and new Eves and having them live in this Eden, E-D-I-N, which was located in Mesopotamia, which is now modern day Iraq, according to the tablets, not according to Billy Carson. And in this mating area, they had certain specific times they could and couldn't mate. And if you violated that, you would be punished. So they were cattle. They were like cattle. And that's why when Enki comes and sneaks up into the garden and starts giving them knowledge, that was the snake. And Lil comes back and discovers that they had to gain some knowledge about themselves and realize that they weren't animals, that they were sentient beings. He gets pissed off and calls his brother a snake in the tablets, you see? Unlike the debate between Sumer and Winter, Cain and Abel do not reconcile. It is a story that teaches us about the consequences of our actions, human fallibility, and so forth and so on. So basically, it's a remix of ancient stories. All this is remixed stuff, you see? The Sumerian tablets. The oldest tablet recorded dates back to around 2300 BCE, but the story is likely much, much older. We're talking about tens of thousands of years old, because now we have found tablets that are much older than 2300 BCE, okay? It's polytheistic, multiple gods, has many recorded creation stories that are often incomplete because of broken tablets and such. But ironically, the parts that weren't broken make it into the Bible. Interesting. Then you have the Sumerian tradition, which includes the Great Flood story, Eridu Genesis. Ziusudra is rewarded with eternal life. The Sumerians wrote many debate stories called disputations, which mimic Cain and Abel's story. And you look at the book of Genesis, there's side-by-side comparison. You see the comparisons there. You see the slight remixing going on. You see that the text that made it into that part of Genesis was mostly just plagiarized text from ancient tablets